Today we're looking at the photo portion of our edit for the Bedtime Stories project. We're going to go ahead and open our Bedtime Stories folder from our desktop and open up our Bedtime Stories project by double clicking on the purple Premiere Pro icon inside of our folder. Now as this loads up, we're going to want to make sure your screen looks like my screen. The easiest way to do this is go to Window at the top, go to Workspaces, and select Reset to Saved Layout. You will want to make sure that you select Editing first, or that editing is already selected. So click on Window and then Editing, and then Workspaces, Reset to Saved Layout. And that's going to make sure that your screen looks just like mine. Now, right now, we need to be able to find our folder that has all our photos in it inside of our Adobe Premiere Pro project. Just click on this tab right here that says Project Bedtime Stories, or if you can't see that, that's okay. We'll go up to Window at the top, go down to Projects right here, and select Bedtime Stories, and that will help you find your main folder for your project. We're going to go ahead and open up Photos by double clicking on Photos, and your view might look like this, or it might look like this icon view. Either one is fine. To switch between the two views, you just click on either of these dots and lines, or this icon view right here. Again, either one will work. However, if you are going to use this icon view, you will want to make sure you click on these three bars and go to Sort by Name to make sure everything is going to be in the correct order, or Premiere Pro will mix it up and put it in a random order, which is not great. Next, we're going to move our playhead to the beginning of our video. So we can just click and drag on this playhead and slide all the way to the left. And that will bring us to the beginning of our video. Now, if we go ahead and play this.
One day at the basketball court.
You'll hear that the audio starts right from the beginning of the book on the first page. However, we want to include the title page in here. So we're going to need to move all of our audio over to make sure we have room for our title page. The easiest way to select all your audio is to hold down the letter, or hold down Control on your keyboard and press the letter A while you're still holding down Control. That's going to select all of your clips all at once so that you can slide them over to the right without accidentally ruining your edit. Next, we're going to go ahead and open up our first photo. So I'll double click on my cover photo. And that's going to open it in our source monitor here. And as always, we can click and drag from the source monitor down onto our timeline. Now, it might ask you if you want to change your timeline settings. In this case, it didn't ask me. But if it asks you to change your timeline settings, say no, we do not want to change it. We want to use our own custom settings. Now, we have our title page in here. So let's play this from the beginning. And I think maybe about 4 seconds is going to be a good starting point for our first title page. We can use the arrow key to go one frame at a time, either left arrow or right arrow, until we reach 4 seconds on our timeline. Then we can just click and drag on the end of our photo until it lines up with the blue line, and that's going to shorten it down to 4 seconds. During this process, it's going to be very helpful to have snapping turned on. You can turn this on and off by clicking on this magnet icon. Blue means it's on, gray means it's off. Usually, I'm going to recommend that you keep this turned on. All right, so now we have our title in place. Again, we can grab all of our audio, and what might be easiest to select everything this time is going to be to use the Track Forward Select tool. You can access this by pressing A on your keyboard, or by clicking on this icon in your tools right here and selecting Track Select Forward tool. We're going to put our mouse in between our title and our audio and just click once. This tool is used to select everything in front of wherever you click. So because I clicked here, it's going to select all my audio. Instead of if I clicked over here, it's going to select the audio and the photo. So just click once over here to select all your audio. And as always, we like to put our tools away when we're done. We're going to click on the selection tool or press V on our keyboard, and we can slide all of our audio back over to here. All right, so now we have all our audio back where we need it. We'll go ahead and go ahead and play this just so you can see what this looks like so far. All right, there we go. We're going to go ahead and grab our first photo or our first page that has words on it. So double click on here. I'm going to scroll down just a little bit to make sure that's the first one. And yes, that looks like our first one that actually has words on it. And again, we're going to click and drag this down onto our timeline. Now we're going to worry about getting the pages rotated in just a moment here. We can do that by clicking on this purple icon where our photo is. We'll go to Window at the top and select Effect Controls right here. Then we'll go to this arrow next to Motion, and we can change the rotation right here. So we're just going to rotate this, either sliding it left or sliding it right, until it looks like our words are at least mostly straight here. And we can change the size of our photo by clicking and dragging on the scale right here. And lastly, we can change the position of our photo by clicking and dragging on our x-axis right here, and sliding that left or right, and sliding left or right on our y-axis right here, until we finesse this to where we can avoid seeing the crease as best as we can. So just zooming in a little bit, making small adjustments as we go here, so that we just see one page, something like this. So again, all we're using is our scale, our x-axis position right here, and our y-axis position right here. The other option we have for moving our photo around is just double clicking on our program monitor right here, and then we can click and drag to move our photo around. So maybe something like this. We'll make it just a little bit smaller, like that. Just trying to make sure we're not losing any important graphics and that this is as straight as we can get it. So maybe we'll try -90 instead. And we might need to split this to -90.5, but your numbers will be different from mine. I think -91 is going to be good enough where we had it before. All right, let's take a look.
One day at the basketball court. Hey, want to play a game of horse?
And it looks like we'll need to make this photo a little bit longer. We'll click and drag it a little bit farther out.
Game of horse? Horse? Yeah.
All right, and our next words are on the next page. So we'll go ahead and open up the next page, just double clicking in our project bin right here, dragging the photo down. And again, we're going to click on the photo, go to Window, Effect Controls, and this will give us access to all the things we need in order to make it bigger or smaller and reposition our photo. So just going to take a few moments here to use our x-axis, use our y-axis to make this photo fill up the entire frame as best as we can. Maybe something close to this. Maybe something like that. And it's not necessarily going to be perfect. We're just doing the best we can to get that page fitting our timeline and fitting our edit as best as we can.
Hey, want to play a game of horse? Horse? Yeah, the game where one person shoots any...
All right, and we're on this photo just really briefly, and we really want to make sure that the words we're saying out loud match up with the words on the page. So in this case, there's only one word.
Horse?
And we'll need to switch to the next photo pretty fast. I'm going to move my mouse to the end of the second photo and just shorten that down. And I'm going to use plus on my keyboard to zoom in a little bit just to make sure this is exactly where I want it, and that's looking pretty good. I'll use minus to zoom out. And now we'll grab the next page. So again, double clicking on that photo, dragging it down onto our timeline here, going up to Window, Effect Controls, clicking on our new photo, and using the scale and position to get this wherever it will look best. So this time using a little bit of a different method, just clicking and dragging from the program monitor here instead of using the X and Y axes. Either way will work. So maybe something like this. And remember, we can adjust the rotation to get this looking as good as we can. So it might take a little bit of time to get everything looking perfect. But again, we're just getting it as perfect as we can. Something like that. And zooming in just a tiny bit more so we lose that edge. I think something like that works pretty well. Now, some of you who have been watching and following along might notice that there's more to the page farther down. And there's a bunch of different ways that we can approach that, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Let's go ahead and play this back.
Horse? Yeah, the game where one person shoots any kind of shot, layup, jumper from half court, bounce shot, whatever.
And again, we're going to need to make our photo longer, just moving our mouse to the end of that photo, dragging it out to the right, and playing it forward.
The player has to shoot the same shot or else that player gets a letter.
And I think the way that we're going to approach this is going to be just adding in another copy where we're going to just move the page down. And there's a bunch of different ways of doing this, but we'll keep this straightforward. And we're just going to grab that same photo, drag it down here, click on the photo, and double click on here to move it. And maybe we'll go to Window, and then Effect Controls, and use the scale to make this smaller, and using the X and Y to get this into the right spot. So again, there's multiple ways of doing this, but we're just going to keep this one simple and get this looking as good as we can, maybe something like that. And in cases like this, it might make sense to cut off parts of the image, and that's okay. Let's play this back.
The other player has to shoot the same shot or else that player gets a letter. Spell horse and it's giddy up, you're out.
All right. So just shortening down that photo so that our timing lines up with our audio. We'll maybe do one more here before we go on to montage mode. So just opening up our next photo, dragging it from our source panel down to here, going to clicking on our photo, going to Window, and then Effect Controls, adjusting our scale, adjusting our position, and again, we might have to choose to split this into a couple different photos so we don't lose too much of our graphic that the illustrator spent a lot of time and effort on. So we'll make sure we can see that like this. And again, we'll just do two separate photos, one where we can see up here and one where we'll be able to see down here. I see that I have a little bit of the edge of the book showing up here. So I'm just going to adjust my rotation a little bit. Wrong way. One of those directions. There we go. Get it eventually. There we go. And that's looking pretty good. And we'll just slide the position over just a tiny bit. There we go.
Right. We call it Ghost where I come from, but the game's the same.
And again, just going to shorten down this photo because I know that we're about to say the last line on the page. Grab an extra copy of the photo, sliding that over here. And then again, clicking on our photo, going up to Window, Effect Controls, adjusting the scale, adjusting the position, and again, just getting this looking as good as we can. Maybe adjusting our rotation just a little bit to something like that. I think that's doing pretty good. And let's see how that looks. All right, shortening this down and starting on the next photo. Rather than talking through every single photo, just like before, we're going to go into montage mode, and I'll see you on the other side of this edit. All right, and that finishes our editing montage here. Now, when we're doing these edits, I think we're going to cut it off at the 1 minute mark. This is a new project at the time of recording, and going through this process, I'm beginning to see that this is going to be much too long, much too much work and effort for the resulting payoff at the end here. So we're just going to look for a 1 minute long edit here. That's still going to teach you the foundational skills that we're looking for. In this case, I've done almost 2 minutes, but just make sure that your edit is over 1 minute long in order to receive full credit for this assignment. For this portion here, we are going to just again take a screenshot of our work. So make sure I see at least one good photo in your program monitor here. Zoom all the way out on your timeline so that I can see all your photos, see all your audio. And again, we're going to take our screenshot. And actually, we might go to the end of our edit. Let's move our playhead to the end of our edit so that I can see how long your edit is. And again, we'll take our screenshot here. So Windows F10, and we'll submit that screenshot on Google Classroom. Again, I'm not looking to have the whole book done, just looking for 1 minute long so we can hit all of those important foundational skills that we are covering in this project. One last thing, don't forget to save your work. Crucial step, of course. Go up to File at the top and select Save, or use Control S on your keyboard. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and I will see you all back in class. Or if you want to see my edit, stick around. I'll play that out for the end here.
One day at the basketball court. Hey, want to play a game of horse? Horse? Yeah, the game where one person shoots any kind of shot, layup, jumper from half court, bounce shot, whatever. The other player has to shoot the same shot or else that player gets a letter. Spell horse and it's giddy up, you're out. Right, we call it ghost where I come from, but the game's the same. You start. Okay, layup with my eyes closed. Wait, that's how you play? That's just too easy, we'll be here all day. Oh, I was just starting easy. I figured I'd give you a chance before you got horsed or ghosted or whatever. Don't be easy on me now. Be easy on yourself. Maybe you want to practice a little first. I do not need practice to beat some old ghost jump. Why don't you start? Okay, I'm going to stand here at half court with my back to the hoop. I'm going to skyhook this ball clear across the court into that basket with my eyes closed, standing on one foot over my left shoulder. Didn't know I could go left, did you? You're probably a specialist in left. Left back, left behind, left out. Well, school's starting now. Get a pencil because I'm going first. You see that building over there? Way over there? The white building? No, the one next to it. I can barely make out the windows. Yep, that one. I'm going to climb to the roof of that building, up 437 flights of stairs. When I get there on the roof of the building 437 stories high, I will first calculate the wind speed and direction. Then, ever so carefully, I will stand on one tiny tiptoe, balance myself on the topmost corner of the 437-story building, and shoot a perfect layup with my left foot.
All right, and that is my finished assembly here. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all back in class. Don't forget to turn in that screenshot on Google Classroom, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye now.